And hello, everybody. Welcome back to part two of sharing your journeys with Tempest. So we're not going to waste no time because we've decided we want to get right into it and just have a really good conversation. Because obviously, got to learn a lot about Tempest in the last one. And this time, we just want to kind of speak more about stereotypes, more about the trans community, and kind of everything to do with that. So I'll let you kind of take the floor, Tempest, and I'll just butt in as we go along.
Okay. Basically, in addition to the stereotypes, I'm also including some of the more inappropriate questions that I've been asked as a trans
Yeah.
woman. Uh, some of the less adult-oriented remarks that I've heard
Okay.
or have been said to me and whatnot. But anyhow, we'll start out with the stereotypes. Okay. The
Amazing.
first one that I've heard a lot on, well, at least here in the US, is that trans people are predators. You know, sexual
Okay.
deviants who will prey on kids, et cetera, et cetera. And it's like,
Wow.
I always tell people, no.
Yeah.
Because if you're
Yeah.
really trans, you've already been, 9 times out of 10, you've already been victimized at some point in your life, whether as an
Yeah.
adult or as a child, and that there is just, it's so stupid that
Mm.
I just, it's like eye roll as soon as I hear that. It's like, seriously, if I was a predator, number one, I would be on the sex offender registry,
Exactly.
and number two, I just couldn't live with myself,
Mm.
knowing you know, that I hurt someone in that particular way.
Yeah.
Can't do it, you know.
Mm.
So I'm always like, yeah, whatever, you know, skedaddle laugh, you know.
Yeah. No, I hear that. I mean, it's really sad to hear that, considering I'm not being funny.
Yeah,
They're two completely different worlds apart. Do you know what I mean? And I would
yeah,
never have thought somebody could think that at all. Because being trans is nothing to do with, I don't know how somebody, it's like putting two and two and getting like 25.
mhm, yeah. I mean, it also goes along with another stereotype that I've heard so much here, especially in the area where I live,
Okay.
which is basically Pennsylvania backwoods.
Yeah.
I mean, like, literally, I'm smack dab right in the middle between uh, Pittsburgh, Buffalo, and Cleveland, you
Okay.
know. And the one thing that I hear constantly, and I mean constantly, is that, especially for trans women, we're just a bunch of men wearing dresses,
Oh, yeah.
and
Yeah.
I'm like, well, I do admit I do own quite a few dresses,
Mm.
but it's not the only thing that's in my wardrobe. Most of the time, I'm comfortable with, like, leggings and a cute top if I'm not going anywhere, or
Yeah.
like summertime, like right now. It's currently uh 20 degrees Celsius here right now
Oh,
ish.
nice. Nice.
You know, I know I had to hurry up and do some quick math upstairs.
I was gonna say, well done, because I can't do it between Celsius and Fahrenheit that quickly. So,
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, for those that don't know, 20 degrees Celsius is generally room temperature, which is
mm.
70 degrees and it's 71. So it's a little above
Oh, okay.
20 degrees, but I don't bother with decimal points most of the time. It's like, screw
Yeah. Yeah.
it.
I get that. I hear that.
And anyway, most of the time, whenever it's warm here, I don't bother with leggings. I'll wear a pair of booty shorts around the house,
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
you know. And anyway, you know, I mean, now granted, whenever my fiance is over, I do try to doll up for him,
Yeah,
because I mean, he likes it, and I mean, what guy doesn't?
exactly.
Yeah. And it also helps me because then I get a chance to feel pretty for a change.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, a lot of the time, just like going out in public, I get like the stink eye from a lot of people,
Mm,
like, oh my God, how can you do this to yourself? And
yeah.
I actually I was actually talking with a friend of mine some years ago about, the whole, okay, if you're trans, how can you do that to yourself? And it's like, what do you mean?
Mm,
And he's like, well, I'm Christian, blah, blah, blah. I consider my body to be a temple. And of course,
yeah,
being the wise ass that I am, I'm like open 24 hours a day,
yeah.
you know? And he's like, no, I'm excruciatingly careful about what I put in my body,
Mm, mm,
and I'm just like, well, God is making you bald.
mm,
God gave you poor eyesight. Gave you crooked teeth.
yeah,
That doesn't mean that you have to sit there and like it. You change those
yeah,
things about you. Being trans, most trans women, they're not comfortable being in their own skin.
yeah, exactly.
That's why we transition.
Mm,
I mean, some of us, uh, a lot more than others, which I do have some news here. I have a consult to begin the first of my trans related surgeries on my birthday next month.
oh my God, amazing.
Yep, it's the first stage for bottom surgery. I'm getting that done and out of the way.
Wow.
Once I'm done vaping, you know,
Yeah,
and with that finally, I will be uh, going under again for vaginoplasty,
yeah.
which I've already selected the surgeon that's going to be doing it. Hopefully, hopefully he'll be watching. His name is Dr. Gabriel Del Coral. Hey,
Yeah.
Doc, love your technique. Going to be seeing you really soon.
Oh God, amazing. Oh, that's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah. And I can't wait to get everything done,
Yeah.
especially the first step. You know, I
Yeah.
mean, I'm pretty sure that we discussed in part one about, the, the meds associated with feminizing
Mm,
hormone therapy.
yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, now there's been a complication with that, and I cannot get the first part done quick enough.
Right.
The
Right. Right. Right.
Yeah, the testosterone blocker that I'm on
Yeah.
has been tanking out my sodium. So
Oh, what? So what does that mean in terms of like
it's
implications and stuff?
it's a side effect of the testosterone blocker that's used here in the US called
Yeah.
spironolactone.
Mm,
It's a diuretic that uh, that you don't need to be on a potassium pill in order
mm.
to utilize, but it does flush sodium out of your system.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. And here I am some 3.5 years later, almost four,
Yeah.
and I'm just like, holy crap, why am I having these cravings for salt all of a sudden? I cannot
Yeah.
get enough salt, you know? And
Yeah.
in addition to that, sour candy for some reason is like it's a lot like having a chocolate bar whenever your hormones get out of whack.
Oh, okay, okay. Get you, get
Yeah,
you.
yeah. And it's like, oh my God, this is the best thing on earth.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
But anyhow, I digress. My apologies.
It's all
Uh,
right.
Another stereotype that a friend of mine had actually told me about just last night is that one of the big ones that she has encountered, she lives up in Canada,
Mm,
uh, another YouTube creator.
yeah.
And she had said one that she has heard has been that every trans woman out there will eventually go through the surgery, which
Okay.
I'll be
Yeah.
going into more with the inappropriate questions and appropriate comments,
Okay. Okay.
you know. And I'm like, that's a new one to me. I mean,
Mm,
I may have read it online here or there, but I haven't really heard that. And she's
yeah.
like, yeah, I could be at the club and a woman will come up to me, and start talking and what have you. And when I explained to her, yeah, I'm trans and what have you, she's like, oh, so you're going to have the surgery like every other trans girl. And I'm like,
Yeah.
wow, way to assume,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, because I mean, there are trans women out there that feel that they don't need
Mm,
surgery.
yeah.
The only thing that they really need to do is just transition their wardrobe to more feminine attire.
Mm,
Me, on the other hand, that's not enough.
yeah.
You know,
Yeah. I
I
hear that.
started I started taking hormones. I started on the journey to actually actually become the closest that I can to a cisgender woman as possible.
Yeah.
Oh, I know some of our viewers are going to be like, cisgender, what's that? Okay. Uh, Basically, whenever you're talking about gender dysphoria and trans people, okay, if you're transgender, your gender identity, upstairs is a lot different than your biological sex assigned at birth.
Okay.
Okay. That's being trans. Being cis is upstairs is the same as downstairs. You know, like
Okay.
girl up here, girl down there, girl all around.
Yeah. Okay.
You uh, one that I've encountered also a lot locally has been uh, well, this stereotype. I will have to say, uh, trigger warning. If there's kids around, might want to shoo them out of the room real quick. But one of the things that I've been told from guys here is they've assumed that I have a bigger wang than what they do.
No way.
Yeah. And I'm like,
Oh my God.
even if that's so, I don't even I don't even like to use it for anything other than urinating.
Yeah.
I mean, my fiance, whenever we have adult fun time,
Mm,
you know, and he starts going down in that area, I'm
mm.
pushing him away, because I'm just not comfortable with anyone
Yeah.
touching, messing around down there,
Yeah. Okay.
you know. And he's been very good about that.
Mm,
And I thank him wholeheartedly for that. One of the things that I love about him is he respects my boundaries a
yeah.
100%. Uh, but to assume that someone else's genitals are bigger than yours is quite an assumption. Yeah,
Yeah,
and it's kind
that
of
really
like,
is.
yeah, and it's kind of like saying also on that same exact token that everything that I've been through, everything that any other trans woman has been through is completely invalidated and equating back to the previous stereotype that I just mentioned.
Mm.
Uh, let's see. Predator, men, how. Uh, there was one final one. I can't remember it to save my existence. So. But it'll come back to me and I'll
Yeah,
probably
I'm sure it will.
we'll just move on and then
No,
if
sure.
I remember it, we'll come back to
Yeah, yeah, sure, sure, no problem.
it. uh next one, well, basically, I mean, we can start talking about inappropriate questions or comments that I've heard
Yes, I'd
and
love to
asked.
hear that.
Yeah, some of them are quite comical.
Yeah.
Yeah, and others are just like eye roll. You know,
Oh, okay, okay.
yeah, it's like there was one guy a couple of years ago. I was at a convenience store getting a pack of cigarettes, and
Mm,
anyway, he comes up behind me. I wasn't wearing anything real fancy or anything else like
yeah.
that. Uh, I was just wearing a pair of capris and a tank top, basically.
Mm.
And he comes up behind me and just whispers in my ear unexpectedly, which made me jump out of my skin, turn around, and bear claw to him. You know, he whispers in my ear, "You're really cute. I'm not gay though."
Oh my God.
Yeah, and I after I managed to calm down,
Yeah,
I'm just like, wow. Okay, first off, thank you for thinking that I'm cute.
yeah,
F you for assuming that being
yeah,
with me is going to make you gay.
yeah.
You know, I mean, my gender identity has no bearing on what you personally believe. You
Mm.
know, if you're straight, you're straight. If you're bi, you're bi.
Yeah.
If you're gay, you're gay. You know, and he's just like, wow, I didn't expect anything like that. You know, as as far as a response from you. And I'm like, yeah, sometimes whenever you're dealing with brainless people, you kind of have to think outside the box.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it gets under their skin so much worse than if you
Mm.
just start flipping out on them.
Yep. Yep.
I mean, let's see. Oh, this one is one of the biggest eye rolls that I've ever encountered. Okay.
Oh, go
And
on.
a guy, I was literally walking to the store one day, and a guy out in public had said, "You know, I identify as a major league bad influence." And I'm just like, well, that is wonderful news for you. You just let me know what pronouns that you prefer, and I will be sure to use them. So if you
Yeah.
decide that your pronouns are going to be I'm a dumbass or I'm stupid, hey, you got it. Whatever's going to
Oh
make
my
you
gosh.
comfortable because
Yeah.
your identity crisis does not bother me. You know,
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
I mean, the one thing that one of my closest friends keeps telling me is there's a show that used to run here from back in the 1980s called The Golden Girls. And
Oh, I've heard of it. Yeah.
yeah, love the show. And one of the things is that all of my friends kind of see me as the old grandmother, Sophia. No filter, speaks her mind,
Yeah.
and generally NFG, no F's
Mm,
given,
mm.
you know. And my one friend is like, wow, you can cast enough shade to blot out the sun.
Oh, wow. Oh my
So that's
gosh.
quite the compliment to me. And
Yeah.
whenever this clown decided to say that, it's like you seen his smirk go from a big old grin to just hope shattered
Yeah.
face, you know?
Oh, wow.
And yeah, I mean, sometimes that's how you have to be with some people, you know?
No, I hear that. Yeah. I hear that.
And then I've also gotten, kind of like what you had said to me in part one about being brave. And I'm
Mm,
like, please, please, please don't.
mm.
If I'm brave for just being who I am and what I am, then you are equally as brave for being who you are and what you are,
Yeah.
you know? I mean, even if that means getting up out of bed every morning, putting your pants on one leg at a time, putting your socks on, you know, hey, you're brave for doing it, you know?
Mm,
Uh, I mean, I don't exactly consider that to be like an inappropriate insult or comment or anything, but it's just more of the eye roll thing.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh, One of the things, and this actually hit me pretty hard whenever I had first heard about it, and I probably the only time I've ever really said anything about it is whenever people make a remark about the suicide rate for trans people
Yeah.
being 41%. You
Mm,
know, if someone makes a remark like that, it's like instant, hey, my armor is up. I am ready for battle.
yeah.
So bring
Yeah.
your worst.
Mm,
And most of the time I will be as cruel and as heartless as the person saying it, and just
mm,
tear them to shreds verbally,
yeah.
because I mean, I have I have friends that have fallen victim to suicide. They might not have been
Yeah.
trans, but they still fell victim to suicide. One of my one of my friends from childhood had fallen victim at the age of 14.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and it hits home for me.
Mm,
And you know, I always try to be very pleasant, very cheerful, and generally just a ray of sunshine.
mm,
But start talking about especially trans people and suicide, it's
yeah.
yeah, no. That giant ray of sunshine will turns into a storm cloud.
Yeah. No, I hear that.
Yeah. Uh and then oh my God, time has flown past.
Trust me, when I just saw that, I was like, wow,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah. But yeah, all in all, that is everything that
Yeah.
I've encountered locally. Um, Aside from just your basic transphobe who wants to sit there and say, no, you shouldn't be going into the women's restroom because my daughter
Mm,
goes in there and there's a chance that you might
yeah.
try something with her or what have you. And I'm like, lady, if I have to go, the last thing on my mind is who's in the stall next to me,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know. But generally, though, I try to avoid public restrooms as much as possible.
Mm,
Not only for that, but let's face it, they're not always the cleanest.
some of them are so grotty. Honestly, I had to use one today and I'm like, do I really need to do this? And I walked straight back out. I was like, no, thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, just
I
no.
mean, like one of the stores here in town, they have someone dedicated that goes in, cleans the restrooms
Mm,
every hour, and if I have to go, I pray that it's like right about the time that that person
yeah,
just gets done,
yeah,
you know, and I'm just like, any other time,
yeah.
it's horrible,
Mm, I hear that.
you know, but yeah, uh, thank you again for giving me the time on your channel.
Anytime. You're always welcome here. Whenever you like.
Okay, I always have a blast doing these. They're always so much fun.
Yeah, they really are.
Yeah.
And I think and it is great. It's like not only for myself, but for people who are watching who don't know much about the trans community or just want to know a little bit more. It is
Mhm.
it's incredible. It's just so incredible just to learn so much from that. So that's what I mean. That's why I always say I love having you on because you teach me so much every time. So I'm always grateful, always.
Yeah. Well, I remember from the last time you had said about having to do research of your own
Mm,
on on trans related care. And anytime that I've always learned something, I've always had a million questions to follow. And I know you've got that look on your eye that there are questions that you are dying to ask. So
mhm.
fire away.
Well, do you know what? You know what? I literally, while I was sitting here thinking about everything you were saying, I was like, do you know what? I might need you to come on for a part three, and literally, it'll be like, right, this is my research. Let me put it to you, kind of thing, and let me get your opinion on it. So I'm thinking, oh, this could literally be another part three, and it'll be like a Q&A kind of session thing to be like, what's your thoughts on this, Tempest? What do you think to this? Do you agree? So that literally, because I thought it would be really, really cool to be like and there might be like some stereotypical questions to be like, oh my God, are you really asking me this? To like actually really in-depth ones. But I think, like I said, it's not only beneficial just for me, but just for everybody who is watching and wants to know so much more, but are kind of afraid to ask the question, or they're just like, well, I don't know how that other person's going to react. So a part of me is like, oh, I'd like to do this. So no, we could literally work on a part three and have that if you're down.
Hey, I'm game.
Hmm. Okay, so everybody, a part three will be coming. And it will literally be like a Q&A with Tempest in a
Yeah.
sense. So yeah, okay. I'll get working on that. I will get the Q&A questions ready.
Yeah, and if there's anyone out there who does have questions of their own, please reach out to one of us,
Yeah.
drop them in the comments, whatever, and I'm sure I'm sure that it'll be brought up whenever we go to make the next video.
Yeah, no, definitely. And as always, I'll obviously share your Instagram in my description so at least people can get in touch if they do just want to communicate with you directly. But yeah,
Mhm.
honestly, it's been a blast having you on Tempest as always. It's always so lovely just to connect and just to learn. I like learning new things, especially with the trans community and everything that's involved with it, because I suppose you only get a glimpse unless you kind of know somebody or are on a level with someone. You don't a lot of people assume a lot of things, and it is just, well, actually, instead of assuming, like, let's talk about it, kind of thing. So yeah,
Yeah.
honestly, it's great having you on. So thank you so much for coming on once again.
Hey, thank you for having me.
And
Like I
until
said,
next time, yeah.
this is always fun. So yeah, until next time,
Yeah, no, definitely. Right. Well, I will love you and leave you, and we will work on part three.
okie dokie. Can't wait to
All
hear
right.
from you, girl.
Yeah, take care for now, and I will speak to you
You
soon.
too.
Bye.
Toodles.